Welcome. So today what we want to do is take a look at a slightly different structure than the if then else structure, and instead we're going to look at the elif structure. The elif structure is a way of saying if this is true, else if this is true, else if this is true, else if this is true. And it just makes it a little more compact. So if you have a bunch of things you want to check and have different things happen for, it's a really good idea. So for example, here in this code, we say if price is greater than target price, just as we have before. But instead of saying else and then having to nest an if inside it, we're going to use an elif. So we're going to say, well, first check if it's greater than target price. If it's not greater than target price, check if it's greater than target price plus 1. Check if it's greater than target price plus 2. And then check if it's greater than target price plus 3. And if that's true, then we're going to do a nested if that checks if it's greater than target price times 2. Now you have to be a little bit careful with the else if, because if the first one's true, then you are going to hit this. So we have to be, the way that this is set up is a little bit odd, right? We're going to have to be careful. Let's see what our numbers say. So we're going to run this first. And it's going to say, are you sure you want to do this? Because 750 is greater than 6, right? But 750 is also greater than 6 plus 1. So this is a problem, right? Because the first else got hit before we could even check the rest. So if you want to do this structure, you have to be a little bit careful in maintaining your order. So I'm just going to switch these around a little bit. And this part in here is not going to make a lot of sense, but that's okay. It's there just for demonstration purposes. And now if we run this, we're going to hit this line because we are exactly greater than target price plus 1. And if we wanted this to happen, we would need to move it as well, because the only time this is going to happen is if it's greater than the target price plus 3. So fortunately, we could just grab this whole thing, cut it, and paste it up here, and now we've got everything in the right order. And then if we hit in here and we want to say something good, like we lost our line here, we got to grab this as well and bring it down. And now we have this set up correctly. So you have to just be careful. If this first condition's true, know that you're not going to check any of the other ones. So now if we run this, we should still be in the same boat, right? But now if we make this bigger than target price plus 3, so let's make this 1050. Now when we run this, we're going to say Bob can't afford that, just like we did before. So the elif is just a way of saying else if in one command. But it can be really useful when you want to check a bunch of conditions like this. But please remember to be careful of the order. Make sure that this second condition isn't going to be absorbed by the first condition like it was when I started. So it's a good thing to pay attention to, because this particular problem where you have the ordering wrong in an elif is one of the most common errors that you're going to run into when you're setting up a big if-else if type situation. And also notice we do have an else that we can use at the bottom. That's a fall through if none of these other conditions are met. And just like before, we could layer this even inside. There's no reason it has to be at the top level. This if-else here could be an if, elif, else as well. Okay? So next we're going to move on to logical operators, which will allow us to write slightly more complex Boolean expressions.